Let's go to 60,000 feet if we could for the last minute 50 that I have. Let me ask you this question. Do you feel that our agencies are being held accountable? Do you feel that the management in those agencies are being held accountable and that the employees in those agencies are being held accountable? And if you're going to say somewhat, give me a grade. Where are we at? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Because the federal government's getting so big, seriously, I question if it can be managed anymore.
Yeah, I definitely think it could be managed. I think we're not, you know, some agencies better than others, okay? But by and large, I think that much more could be done to hold the agencies accountable. And I think this is, you know, Congress's responsibility. I think there needs to be more oversight hearings. I've said this a number of times. Where we see positive change, we see the Congress's hand has to be in this area, and that, to me, is very important. Now, we work also with OMB to try to create change within the executive branch, and I meet with the heads of departments and agencies as well to try to institute their change. But really, the best incentives I've seen to hold people accountable over the years are good, rigorous congressional oversight. That will produce change, with or without legislation, I might add.
So some folks back in Iowa comment, boy, OGR, you hold some great hearings. Really good stuff, tough questions. What happens after that?
Yeah, there's not enough.
What happens after the tough questions?
There's not enough follow-up. There's not enough follow-up.
How do we change that?
Yeah, I think you have to be clear. You know, I've been involved in some things over the years where there are a series of hearings. You know, I remember in the Senate when initially we were having questions about the personnel security clearances were behind, that were not being done timely. They held hearings there was either a quarter or every 6 months. So there was a series. People knew from the agencies that it wasn't like, gee, I got to get through this hearing and it's going to be over with. They'll forget about it. They had follow-up hearings. You had follow-up meetings with the agency officials. GAO can help in the follow-up activities as well. So there has to be a commitment to follow through until you know that the problem's solved. And it's not just bringing...
That's where we're weak, I think.
Yeah, that's where, yeah, I agree. I mean, Congress does a good job at shining a light, but then as soon as the light goes away, the problem doesn't get much better.
My time's expired, but hats off to you from the lone voice from the private sector. I think you're doing an amazing job. Your agency does an amazing job, and I, for one, am so glad that you're here today.
Oh, thank you very much, Congressman.
I yield back the time I do not have.